Hey everyone, Ariel Adams here with aBlogtoWatch. Please subscribe to our videos and like this video if you find it useful. This is a review of the Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean GMT, a watch I happen to really enjoy. It's no secret that I'm a Planet Ocean fan, and the GMT hits the sweet spot on a lot of levels. Omega originally came out with the Seamaster Planet Ocean in 2005, and the Planet Ocean was sort of a more modern, kind of slightly higher end sort of subcategory of the original Seamaster. They didn't want to discontinue the original Seamaster because James Bond was wearing one and it had a really big following. And they said, you know, we want to have something kind of different. And so the Planet Ocean became their kind of high-end diver. And several years ago, I don't remember the exact, I want to say 2009, 2010, something like that, Omega started putting in-house made movements in the Planet Ocean. So that started with the three-hand Planet Ocean, and then they built a chronograph, and then in 2013, they released the GMT. And so each of these has in-house made movements, and this one happens to be the caliber 8605 that you can see there in the back of the watch. Very lovely movement. And the 8605 is based upon the architecture of the original 8500, which is the movement which you have in all of the three-hand Planet Ocean watches. And the 8605 is very much the same, except it has the addition of a GMT hand. And I like the GMT hand. It's a particularly nice but not obtrusive yet legible GMT hand. And of course it has an orange tipped hand. Now, there's a few things that make this version different than the original three-hand Planet Ocean. Because it's a GMT, of course you have a different bezel, so you have a bi-directional bezel rather than the unidirectional one, and it's a 24-hour scale, so you can see it moves either way. And it's really used in order to go ahead and make it so that you can read the time on the 24-hour hand. One drawback, it's not a huge deal, but rotating GMT bezels, 24-hour bezels, tend to be used in combination with a 24-hour scale on the dial. And the reason that is so that you can go ahead and turn the bezel and actually use it to determine a third time zone. Because what happens is if you leave it here with them sort of lined up to the home time, so to say, you can then take the GMT hand and know the time in a different time zone. So right now, for example, we have the time happens to be set almost 2 a.m. and you can see that on the main time, and that's also represented in the GMT hand there. But if I turn this away and I want to basically turn this into a different time zone, I then don't have an independent reference that will allow me to determine this time here. So basically, I would have to go ahead and move it back. So it's a little complicated, so I wouldn't say this is the perfect watch for having 3 time zones. What you can do, however, while turning this is basically assume that this is going to be like a diver's bezel. There isn't going to be a 60-minute scale, but you can sort of, I mean, it's not hard to count out the quadrants. And then you can also use it lining up with the hour hand if you want to measure the passage of hours as well, up to 24 hours. So you can use it, there's a few different things that you can use it for. The bezel, of course, is ceramic, and it uses Omega's liquid metal technology. So it's a really nicely done bezel, and it's very highly scratch resistant. I like it. It has a nice little bit of a shiny look to it compared to aluminum. And pretty much all the Planet Ocean watches these days have these ceramic bezels. I'm pretty sure this is liquid metal. It's actually kind of complicated because they have ceramic ones, then they have ceramic ones that do not have liquid metal filling, and then they have ones that do have liquid metal filling. I believe this is liquid metal, but it's hard because Omega used to label them liquid metal, now it doesn't, and it gets confusing. But you know what? It's a nice bezel. I wouldn't worry about it. Another difference between this and the standard three-hand watch is the case size. This is a 43.5 millimeter wide case. This one's in steel. It also comes in gold. And the regular Planet Ocean is offered in 42 and 45 millimeters. So for me, the 42 and 45 is kind of a little bit too small and a little bit too large. But this one, the porridge is just right. So I happen to think that a 43.5 millimeter wide size is, in my opinion, the perfect size for the Planet Ocean. The chronograph only comes in 45, but I think that's okay because it has the 2 subdials on there. It has a 9300 movement. So I think the extra space is merited, especially as the pushers. But for me, 43.5 is just a great size. The case is water resistant to 600 meters because it's a Planet Ocean. And here you have a manual helium escape valve, which is unnecessary. I mean, we know this. I mean, the people that use helium escape valves are limited, very limited, but it's a design feature. It's kind of one of those vestigial things. And in the written review, you'll read, I joke that it's kind of like a tachymeter scale that's basically on the Speedmaster. Very few people use them, but it's kind of part of the design. And you know what? I like that it's there. I have to admit, it reminds me about a certain element of professional diving that I will never be involved with, but I like that it's there. This version of the GMT is on the rubber strap, and they use a very high-end sort of I think it's caoutchouc. I never know how to pronounce that. It's a very high-end rubber. Feels great. They started using this a couple years ago. It has that stitching in there, the orange stitching. Even though the case is steel, the buckle is actually titanium. Great buckle. I like how it wraps on the inside there so that when you wear it, it has a nice clean flush look and there isn't anything dangling off there. Of course, it comes on a steel metal bracelet, which is beautiful as well. Overall, there's really nothing bad to say about this. I mean, are there features that are missing, like inside that 24-hour scale that would be a fixed one on the inside? Sure, but it would make the dial a little bit more cluttered, and it's just a little bit of a sacrifice you make for what's overall a clean dial. This version has the Arabic numerals. There's some of those in orange. There's other ones that have more of an all-black dial. So this just happens to be one version of the Planet Ocean GMT. I think for 2013, Omega released like 7 of them. So there's a lot of different, variations. They have, of course, a date that has a black disc, so that makes it nice to see. And, there's other little things on here that I like to point out that Omega does well. For example, I don't think there's any white on the dial. There's no white. There's silver. So the text, especially for right here, and for the date, it's silver. It's not white. Just a little thing that kind of gives it a little bit more of a classy look. Also, it's quite a shiny watch. If you can tell, there's a lot of reflectivity there. But it's also very, very legible. There's a domed sapphire crystal, really no distortion at all. Loum is fantastic. The loom works really well in here, and those double broad arrow hands are just very visible. It's an iconic look. It's 100% Omega, and Omega has raised its prices over the years. They offer more for the price. I think 10 years ago the average price for an Omega was about $3,000, and I think now that's up to somewhere between $6,000 and $8,000. So that's a big increase, but you get a lot more for your money. And I'm not just talking about in-house made movement. I'm talking about a good in-house made movement, because the in-house made movement is not only attractive, but it uses silicon. It has, obviously, it's a coaxial, which is a big deal as well. It's also chronometer certified. You have the ceramic bezel. You have a lot of high-grade features. You get a lot of watch for your money. So even though the average price is doubled or more over the years, I think Omega makes a better watch than ever today, and I think it's only getting better. So we have more interesting things coming between now and the next couple of years, and Omega is a watch that just that continues to be a great choice for a lot of different people. And I like to write about them. I like to review them because it's the type of watch that I like to wear. And it's a cool brand. It's a cool brand that does a lot of interesting things. I mean, the sponsorships are the sponsorships. And yes, the Olympics are great. James Bond is cool. The moon missions are great. But what the brand does in terms of continuing to try to upgrade the technology, really focusing on ceramic, really focusing on the development of movements and the improvement of the accuracy, is something that as a watch lover I can see and I can appreciate. And it makes the wearing and ownership experience actually very nice. Anyhow, so this is the Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean GMT. This particular version retails for $7,800, and you can see the full review on aBlogtoWatch.